Skip, remind you now, he only weighed 144, so he was basically 10 pounds, basically under the weight. But he wiped it out.
A much smaller guy, just because he's at the end of the road. But the fight's so big and the money's so big, he's gonna have to take it. I bet he retires after that fight.
Canelo will have to start playing catch-up in rounds 4, 5, 6. Believe me, by the 7th round, Canelo is going to be a little muscle fatigued, right? We've seen that.
Shannon Sharpe issued a strong warning to Canelo Alvarez about facing Terence Crawford, suggesting it could end badly for Canelo. He highlighted Crawford's superior speed, skill, and stamina, hinting that the fight might not just be a loss but could signal the end of Canelo's dominance in boxing. Canelo, meanwhile, revealed he now has a retirement plan, reflecting on his 20-year professional career. He admitted that after so many years in the ring, the urge to explore life beyond boxing has grown stronger, and at times, he simply wants to do something different with his time.
Retirement ever crossed your mind? Have you ever thought about that?
I always say like 37 is good time to go. It's not because I can be in the boxing anymore, but you know, sometimes you need to do something else. So I'm being in October I turned 20 years as a professional fighter. So it's meant a lot.
Eddie Hearn, longtime promoter and close insider to Canelo Alvarez's career, has fueled fresh speculation by suggesting that the upcoming fight with Terence Crawford could be Canelo's final bout. Hearn believes the Mexican superstar may be nearing the end of his legendary journey, with the Crawford challenge possibly serving as the ultimate test that signals his retirement. His words carry weight, as he has been alongside Canelo through multiple phases of his career and understands the physical and mental toll boxing has taken on him. After nearly 2 decades in the professional ring, Canelo may be seeking closure through this fight, ending his chapter against one of the most technically brilliant boxers of the era.
Differently based on how Canelo performed against Skull Eddie?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, wow.
It wasn't just the fact that he couldn't cut the ring off. I just feel like the timing now, the age, Canelo is amazing. I mean, not just because of his ability and what he's accomplished, but the fact that he still has the desire for those training camps and those fights. But I just feel like that desire might be fading a little bit. Not because of his love, but just because of age and life. Do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, like the Crawford fight will definitely get him up for it. But I was actually watching that fight thinking I wouldn't be surprised if he retired and actually didn't fight Crawford, because I don't think he'll want to lose to Crawford, a much smaller guy, just because he's at the end of the road. But the fight's so big and the money's so big, he's going to have to take it. I bet he retires after.
Canelo's recent performances against John Ryder and, more notably, William Skull have raised concerns for Eddie Hearn. He noticed signs of aging, slower combinations, less sharp head movement, and a clear drop in punching power. The explosiveness that once defined Canelo's mid-career appears to have faded. Bernie, a close member of Crawford's team, expressed immense confidence in Terence's ability to beat Canelo, calling him not just great, but a legend. Even more telling is the shift among Mexican fans. While Canelo remains a national icon, some loyal supporters are beginning to lean toward Crawford. This isn't just about loyalty, it's about skill, momentum, and hunger. Bernie emphasized that Crawford's performances have earned global respect, and even Canelo's camp recognizes how dangerous Bud is. When admiration begins crossing borders like this, it speaks volumes about the legacy Terence Crawford is building.
Yeah. Now, the man said, now was both good. Say, not gonna beat me. He said, I'm telling you, I guarantee I'm gonna beat you. So you know what I'm saying? That's how Crawford is. That's how he feel. He believe in his heart. And you could tell it. You could look him in his eyes. You know what I mean? And a lot of people believe that Crawford gonna win this fight. And a lot of Mexican people.
Yeah, they supporting him. They supporting him.
A lot of Mexican people, you know. So they got their formula why Crawford gonna beat him. But it's a tremendous fight. I think Canelo, like I say, is a living legend. You know, everything that he do. A lot of people don't like him. A lot of Mexicans don't like him. But I love him. I think he does everything good in the ring. I think, from swag to everything. I just love Canelo. I can't take it away from him. He had them little allegations and everything.
Yeah.
And that's a damper on him, but I try not to focus on that. You know what I mean? I know he got in there with the baddest guys, the toughest guys, and he came through with flying colors. So I give him all the credit, going up there fighting Bivol when nobody knew who Bivol really wasn't paying attention to him. That man was a 25-year-old champion, the reigning champion, title defense under his belt, and young and good. And Canelo fought him. So, you know what I'm saying? That was a challenge. You feel me? Had the height, had the reach, had a lot of, you know what I mean? So I give Canelo none but credit. I thank him for allowing us to get this fight. And you see what Crawford said. I didn't get to get, Canelo got to fight these guys with the names. I didn't necessarily get to fight all the guys with the names when I wanted to, but I got him.
Yes.
And that's the how it coming around full circle. And when God got it for you, nobody can be against you. And so I think he's the most deserving fighter of that outside of Benavidez. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Besides that, but Benavidez still doesn't bring the super fight dynamic to it.
Yes.
It's a really good fight with Benavidez, but this is a super fight.
Exactly. We
have legends fighting each other. David Benavidez has yet to become a legend. He's still growing in the sport.
Absolutely.
Crawford is a legend. 14 years in the sport, 10 years as champion, 11 years going on. You understand? Undisputed 2 different times, fighter of the year, all those different things. So, like I say, and the mystique of Crawford is legend in itself. The mystique of Crawford. So, I mean, so it's a super fight. Again, I thank Canelo Alvarez for taking the fight.
Former middleweight champion Kelly Pavlik gave a blunt take on the matchup, going against popular belief by calling Crawford the bigger man in terms of strength and effectiveness in the ring. He highlighted Crawford's raw talent, tactical control, and exceptional physicality. More telling was his critique of Canelo. Pavlik believes that in recent fights, Canelo has fought conservatively, aiming not to dominate or knock out opponents, but simply to avoid defeat. Against someone as hungry and dynamic as Crawford, he feels that approach won't be enough. The contrast Pavlik paints is clear. One man is climbing toward greatness, the other is trying to hold on.
He's a great fighter. I mean, that's it. Crawford is so talented. He's got so much ability in boxing, his boxing ability. And he's a bigger guy, too. He's almost every bit as big as Canelo, right? So that's what makes it tough. Like, yeah, Canelo's used to fighting guys coming down from 200, probably, at light heavyweight. And Crawford ain't. But it's just too hard to pick on because of Crawford's ability and boxing skills. I'm not going off of Canelo's last fight. The guy he was fighting was in survival mode pretty much. He was just fighting not to get knocked out. When you fight a guy like that, you're not going to look good, right? I don't care what anybody says. When you're fighting a guy that's running around trying to survive, it makes it hard. So I don't go off of that, but this fight is going to be interesting. I mean, I would almost have to kind of lean with Canelo, but I'm not making that pick. Just saying, guys, so nobody come at me. I'm going to sit back and enjoy this one. Not worrying about anybody, saying, hi, you're wrong, or talking. But it'll be a good one.
Renowned trainer Robert Garcia added to the conversation, agreeing that Canelo has noticeably moved away from seeking aggressive knockouts. Garcia put it bluntly, Canelo is tired. Having fought professionally since his teenage years, Canelo has carried the grind of boxing on his shoulders for nearly 2 decades. The precision and calculated risks that marked his early career have shifted to a more cautious style, likely aimed at conserving energy and minimizing damage. Garcia's words weren't a criticism but an acknowledgement of Canelo's wear and tear. He's been through wars, carried the sport on his back, and the toll is now showing in the ring.
Why is it that Shiraz was able to knock out Berlanga but not Canelo?
It's because Canelo doesn't go out for the knockout anymore. Canelo's just now. We've seen in the last few fights, he just does enough to win. He did the same against Munguia. He dropped Munguia, but then they didn't want to finish him. Charlo, Berlanga. He wants to cruise through the fight. He's up there, and not in age because he's only like 33 or 34. But he's
fighting since 15.
He was 15. A lot of training camps, a lot of sparring matches. So all that takes a lot out of your body. So he takes care of his body too. So he doesn't go all out because he doesn't want to just finish his body. He knows he still has a few more years and a few big fights where he wants to take care of himself and not punish himself too much. That's why he hasn't been able to knock those guys out. Not because he can't. I think he just does enough to win. I think Shiraz also has great power, man. I think Shiraz has the power that nobody believed he had.
Popular analyst Showbiz the Adult described the Crawford-Canelo fight as potentially history-making. Defeating Canelo, one of boxing's biggest global stars, would cement Terence Crawford's place in legendary status. At this stage, it's no longer just about titles, it's about legacy. However, showbiz also warned of the double-edged nature of greatness. If Crawford wins too convincingly, conspiracy theories could emerge, with people questioning how a smaller fighter managed to outclass someone like Canelo. In today's social media era, greatness often invites suspicion. The bigger the victory, the louder the noise. For Crawford, this could be both the pinnacle of his career and the beginning of a post-fight narrative battle.
Going to attempt to do something that is so incredible, so magnificent, so amazing as a fighter and for his legacy, in trying to beat Canelo Alvarez, the 168-pound undisputed champion. My fear is, if he does that, if he accomplishes that, if he is able to succeed in accomplishing such a magnificent goal, people will immediately discredit Terence Bud Crawford and his victory, calling him a drug.
Veteran sports commentator Stephen A. Smith, known for his candid takes, predicted a points victory for Terence Crawford. He believes Crawford's discipline, ring IQ, and ability to control the tempo could secure a unanimous decision against the bigger but slower Canelo. Smith noted that while Canelo is still dangerous, his recent output has declined, whereas Crawford excels in long, grueling fights that go the distance. A decision win over 12 intense rounds, Smith said, would solidify Crawford's status as not only the best active fighter, but one of the greats of the modern era.
Yes, who's gonna win the fight, man? That's coming up, the biggest fight in boxing.
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating. Crawford.
You gonna stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
When I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud.
Right.
It's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yeah.
That's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up for fights not ready. He's always ready.
Always prepared.
He's always ready. He's always prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter, though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movement, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo because he's faster. But he ain't got...
Terence Crawford spoke confidently ahead of the fight, acknowledging Canelo's size and pressure tactics. Unshaken, he remains calmly prepared for every scenario. His mindset reflects both respect for Canelo and unwavering belief in his own adaptability, a balance of humility and sharp focus that sets him apart.
I'm feeling good. Work has been going great. And, fight time, we're going to be prepared to put on a great show for you guys.
Has this been in your mind? We've been talking about it forever. Did you feel like this was eventually going to be the case, that you and Canelo were going to eventually get in there?
Not at all. Not at all. I didn't, think it was, a fight that he wanted. So I didn't really know. But, thanks to Turkey, Al-Sheikh, he made it possible. And, we got one of the biggest fights in the last decade, happening at Allegiant Stadium, September 13th.
When you get in there, what do you expect? Everyone's going to make, a size difference, but what do you expect when you get in there with Canelo?
I'm expecting Canelo to be Canelo. He's the bigger man. I expect him to, box a little bit, but I also expect him, to try to walk me down and be the bigger man. So, You know, we expect everything.
Antonio, a member of Team Crawford, revealed that Terence already has his game plan locked in, a strategy designed to exploit every weakness in Canelo's current form. He said Crawford is preparing not just physically, but tactically, knowing exactly when to switch gears, counter, and apply pressure. Still, Antonio gave Canelo his due, noting he has a chance if he brings the urgency and explosiveness seen in the Caleb Plant fight. That aggressive, relentless version of Canelo would have a better shot. Anything less, and Crawford's execution could be too much to overcome.
It's gotta be Terence, bro. He's a real deep thinker. He processed fights like nobody else. And he's processed this Canelo fight. He's seen it. He went through it 2 or 3 times already. He knows how this ends. You can tell the way he shadow boxes. He visualizing Canelo being right there in front of him. You understand? Look at the movement. That's all you got to do. Look at the movement. And that's the type of master boxer that Canelo is going to be facing. And the only thing I say is Canelo hasn't faced an opponent like this in a long time. You know what I mean? I think Canelo's going to have to go back to the Caleb Plant fight and look that good, that active, that, you feel me, moving with that type of grace to beat Terence Crawford. Because weight ain't gonna make the difference. It ain't gonna be the weight. It's gonna be.
In a surprising twist, Canelo praised Crawford in an interview, ranking him above some of the most iconic names in boxing history. This high praise speaks volumes about the respect Canelo holds for him. Coming from a fighter who shared the ring with Mayweather and was promoted by Oscar, it carries deeper meaning. It's almost as if Canelo views Crawford not just as another opponent, but as a potential successor to boxing greatness, an acknowledgement that this fight will be unlike anything he's faced before.
The best fighter he has ever faced. He says that he believes that Terence Bud Crawford is better than legendary Hall of Famer Bernard Hopkins, Oscar De La Hoya. There's no shock there. Tito Trinidad. But the shock came in where he said that he believes he is definitely better than Russian superstar undisputed light heavyweight world champion who beat Canelo Alvarez. I thought pretty handily, 9 rounds to 3. I thought 10 rounds to 2, but 9 rounds to 3 at worst. He beat Canelo Alvarez in Dimitri Bivol. And then he said that, but this is not a shocker, he said this before, that Terence Crawford is better than Floyd Mayweather. Now, I personally don't believe that. I believe that Floyd Mayweather is a better fighter. But nonetheless, Terence Crawford is a great in his own right. But this just goes to show that Canelo Alvarez has learned something, a thing or two, from Floyd Mayweather. He showed some things he took from Floyd Mayweather from their fight, which he lost every single round to a 36-year-old going on 37-year-old Floyd Mayweather. In 2013, he lost every single round to Floyd Mayweather, right? Floyd Mayweather always build up his opponents. Always, okay? He always build up his opponents. He never tear down his opponents. He learned, if you tear down your opponent, how you get credit for your opponent, for the win.
The fight may ultimately come down to this: Terence Crawford needs to be himself, slick, strategic, and vicious when necessary. His natural rhythm and style have broken down every opponent he's faced. For Canelo to have a real shot, he must display unmatched durability and composure, staying unfazed by Crawford's precise, stinging shots. If he can walk through the fire and keep pressing, momentum could swing his way. But if he slows, grows frustrated, or struggles with Crawford's angles, the fight could slip away fast. This is a clash of will, style, and endurance.
Able to be aggressive, not be affected by Bud's punches, and just keep, attacking and imposing that will on him. And then Bud being a dog that he is, and, just saying, you know what, I'm going to go. I'm letting loose. Yeah. I think that can change the effect on Bud, and I think that will be the way that Alvarez can win that fight.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so what do you think? Obviously, if Bud remains slick, what outside of that could cause Canelo to lose?
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.